Chapter 14. Paper Boat. Miranda woke to the birds singing outside her room. The sun shone through the gap in the long, dark blue curtains. Gold and silver stars glittered on the high ceiling. Sitting up, she saw her school uniform lying folded on her chair, ready to put on after her shower. A gentle knock at the door, and the door swung open to reveal Stella dressed in a grey dress and black boots. Her long silver necklace was festooned with red and black acrylic circles. Miranda smiled shyly at her as Stella came and sat on the bed. "Time for school, darling." She patted her daughter's hand. "How about some breakfast? We have croissants, pain au chocolat, cereal, toast, eggs, bacon, whatever you want." Miranda gave her a gentle smile. She knew she must be grateful, but she was overwhelmed even by the choice of what to have for breakfast. Stella stood, straightening her dress. "Anyway, have a shower, get dressed, and then come down to the kitchen. Petra's coming around. She'll walk to school with you." Miranda pulled back the covers and swung her legs across to haul herself out of bed, but as she did so, Stella let out a cry. "Your legs! What happened?" Miranda looked down at the blotchy marks and blisters that covered her skin. She hung her head in shame as Stella came and sat next to her. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Stella tried to take her in her arms, but Miranda pulled away and stumbled to the window. "Don't touch me, please," she begged. "What is it, love?" Stella looked shocked. "Have the other students bullied you? Have they hurt you?" Miranda shook her head. "Please don't worry. I was in the sun too long, that's all. I'll take a shower now." Stella stood and reached across to her daughter, but Miranda backed up against the curtains. "All right, if that's what really happened, I will leave you in peace, but you know you can tell me anything." Stella walked to the door and said, "I do love you, my darling Miranda." She turned and withdrew, closing the door behind her. Miranda was left alone in her room. Feeling scared about the day ahead, but determined to make the best of it, she padded to the bathroom. She admired the sunshine yellow walls, the array of colourful bottles that stood on display, and after a hot shower she wrapped herself in luxurious thick navy towels. "I'll have to get used to all this colour around me and this comfort. It's all very different from Zephyr," she thought. The school uniform, black trousers, bottle green blazer and white shirt, lay on a chair. Miranda quickly dressed. Looking at herself in the mirror above the dressing table, she sighed. "My hair! What am I going to do about that?" But her mum had thought of everything, and there, laying on some white tissue paper, was a raven black wig of long hair, just like Erin's. She was ready, but again felt drawn towards the window. Pulling back the curtains, she allowed the sun to enter the room. Blinking from the brightness, Miranda's grey eyes finally settled on the green fields, where sharp stones were jutting out of the ground. A tiny movement caught her eye. It was a butterfly beating its wings against the glass. Pale blue and delicate, it continued to fight to escape, but Miranda could see the insect was tiring. She opened the adjacent window and, gently cupping her hands, held the butterfly up to the open air. It quivered for a moment as it perched on her fingers and then took off with ease, circling back once before disappearing towards the 7 stones. Taking a deep breath, Miranda closed the window. She thought of her sister, Erin. "Be like that butterfly and keep fighting," she whispered. "And so must I," she said loudly to the empty room. "We have to keep going, and together we will bring her home." Hoping Erin would find the messages she'd hidden, Miranda checked herself once more in the mirror, something she wasn't used to doing, and then made for the door. Miranda Winslow closed the door, lifted her head defiantly, took a deep breath, and decided to face her new life and whatever the day brought. Butterfly. Z84 woke with the noise of the daily garment drawer clicking open. The uniform was grey. She quickly showered and dressed. The digital clock in the wall told her she had 10 minutes until the bells summoned her. Her duvet was in a knot. Pillows were scattered. The sheet was rumpled. She had not slept well. Z84 pulled at the fitted sheet where it had come loose from the corner of the mattress. As she lifted it to repair the bed, she noticed a tiny piece of paper sticking out from between the wooden bars beneath. Holding the mattress high, she reached down and pulled out a tiny paper boat. Z84 slumped down onto the floor and stared at the folded paper. Miranda, she thought, this must have been her room. Unfolding the boat carefully so as not to tear the precious paper, she gasped as she read the neat handwriting. I am so happy. Z42 talked to me today. I hope we will be friends. Life here will be bearable now that I can share my thoughts with him. This is not how we should be living. This must be wrong. We should be loved and respected, not hated and devalued. Together we can make a difference. Teardrops. Without warning, the window of her pod clicked and opened smoothly. At the same time, a strident bell rang out. Time to go. Scratching her itchy scalp, Z84 wondered what to do with the tiny boat. Refolding the paper, she slipped it back into its hiding place. Suddenly she thought of the little boat her father had given her as he left. Searching through the tangled clothes on the floor, she soon found it nestled on a sea of white. Quickly, Z84 hid it with the other one. There was no time to study it now. Z84 climbed down the ladder and joined a line of others, some in white, some in blue, and some in grey. No one spoke. A young man was staring at her and lifted his hand to his temple, the tip of his thumb touching the tip of his forefinger. He turned away with a sad smile. The line began to shuffle down white corridors until it arrived at the nourishment sector. Here the line swayed along to the counter, each student silently taking a tray, then collecting bread and jam and tea. One of the teachers, a grey-haired man dressed in green, stopped her as she went to collect her food. Check your uniform, Z84. The shirt should not be tucked in. Looking down and then across at the others in the line, she realised everyone's shirts were loose. Grinning to herself, thinking of her own school in Newton, where shirts were always tucked in, Z84 sorted out her uniform. Perhaps those small moments of me rebelling against the system might shake them up a bit and keep me sane, she thought, turning away from the counter with her food. Z84 Marcon looked across at the other students, lifted her head defiantly, took a deep breath and decided to face her new life and whatever the day brought.